And it's like, if something goes wrong, you don't have control over everything.
Yeah.
Versus a lot of the times, I mean, this isn't always true, but a lot of the times when it's just you, the data, and a computer, I mean, there's not a whole lot of people that you can blame, other than,
That's true.
yeah. I mean, and
It's
that,
in
like I
engineering
said,
as well, yeah.
yeah. And obviously, as you scale up, like for instance, let's go to a big system like Facebook, there's hundreds of data sources and there's hundreds of engineers, and that gets a little more complicated. But I think the principle still applies.
We've been talking recently about Facebook. I don't even remember with whom, with one of my students or with somebody else. Like and they said, I don't remember who said it, who was it, but like the thing was with Facebook, everything is already like set. They have their structures down, right?
Yep.
And it's not really like there's a struggle and you need to work out complex problems and like set up systems or model like your pipelines, because most of the stuff is already done and you're just there and you're transforming from here to there, and like so it's not as challenging as starting with getting to a startup, and the startup starts from zero. You need to come up with an architecture and so on and so on. So
yeah,
I don't know how I started this, but that wasn't interesting.
No, you're 100%.
I wanted to go with it.
No, you're 100% right though, that often at big companies the work is maybe a little less meaningful occasionally, and you're more, this is how I felt at Exxon. I mean, I'm sure other places are different, but at Exxon I felt like a lot of the time, and I think this goes with Exxon's culture, so I think tech companies are probably a little bit different, but a lot of the time I felt like I was a monkey. I'm just grinding. I'm just winding the music box. Like, I'm just doing what I'm told, because there's a lot of systems in place and they didn't necessarily want to innovate as much as I wanted to innovate. At smaller companies, innovation is kind of a necessity a lot of the time. Like you said, like you're starting from scratch, so you have to come up with something, and that can be really fun and really rewarding.
Yeah. Projects can also be, also in bigger companies, projects can be fun. When you start up, when you have it as a startup, but once I made this experience, once you get into the machine, once you make this step from we're doing a startup and we're very self-reliant, and then you're getting into the actual processes of the company, then the frustration can start, because then there are challenges. There's stuff in place that you cannot skip. You need to work with the IT department, and they have their processes, and they are telling you how to set your firewalls and what is allowed and what is not allowed. Like then you have to fight, and you're in the bureaucracy and so on. So it's can also be challenging. But my thing is always the startup thing. I think I'm like thinking about how to solve problems. What could we build to actually set everything up, and that is the most interesting part of it.
Yeah, it is interesting how there's different personalities that match that better. There's like for like big companies, like more like public companies, they have like growth CEOs, right? So people that are like really growing the business and like making it and innovating. And then they have, what is it called? Operational CEOs. And they're like the people who are maintaining and keeping everything where it is. And I think that's true of, personalities. People like you and me, we might like to build things. And I won't bring your name into it, but I'm not a great finisher, like I'm very good at like coming up with ideas and building it, but sometimes I get bored or I just get discouraged by the bureaucracy. And I think there's probably other people that have, better personalities to finish sometimes when I start.
Yeah, but it's absolutely right. I've been thinking about this, or I was thinking about this early end of last year as well. Like once you pass the initial phase, there are the builders, the conceptual workers, the architects, and so on. Once you go through that, most likely you need somebody else who actually takes it from there and scales it and works with the bureaucracy and and everything. So I think it's exactly like you said with mentalities. There are different mentalities. Like the one below, the one who's working on the startup, who's trying to build something, doesn't care about the infrastructure that is already there. Doesn't care about the rules of the company. Like
Yeah.
the general rules, of course, but like doesn't care if this is right or this is right from it.
Yeah.
Like you're building something. You want to get somewhere. You want to find a really good solution for the problem and not be conformed to the processes. I think that's what I want to say. Like you're not looking for conformity, but at some point you need to bring this into make this everything conform to the company's processes, especially in corporations. And these are different mindsets, different people you need there. And that's why I also then like decided to take a step back. I'm like I found myself a bit in the wrong role.
Yeah.
And that's which is not my thing.
Yeah. That's super true. And both are good. You know, they're just different
absolutely.
personalities.
There are people who hate this stuff, like the startup stuff.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing. They need order, they need processes, and we can't decide today this and tomorrow this just because we found out something new. Why didn't we think of this before? And like,
yep,
it's completely normal, and it's nothing bad, I think.
For sure.
You need to know your role.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, this has been awesome conversation. I've really enjoyed it. I've learned a lot about data engineering. And I've learned a lot, maybe even about myself. I'm like, yeah, I hate managing stuff. I just want to build stuff. So hopefully everyone else listening, either live or in the podcast, also got a lot out of it. I know I did. Where can we find you? Where can we find to hear more of the Plumber of Data Science?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Andreas Kretz. You can find me, as you said in the beginning, on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel with, I don't know, 300 videos or something. I recently bought myself a GoPro, so I'm going to do a bit more vlogging style in the next few weeks, most likely. So fun. Yeah, I want to have something that I can bring up and quickly talk to. So that I'm also on Instagram, Andreas Kretz. It's very boring, always use the same name. But like, yeah,